Joe High School, to be delivering the first affirmative speech of this round. And we are going to be affirming the resolution that the U.S. should not prosecute Edward Snowden. Before jumping into our contentions in support of this affirmation, I'm going to define a single term. We are going to define prosecute as being the action of instituting legal proceedings against a person with the defense and prosecution present on U.S. soil for the duration of the prosecution. And in support of this resolution, we have three main contentions. First, we've got the responsibility to uphold the law. Second, protecting Snowden has several positive externalities. And third, prosecuting Snowden would be entirely ineffective. First, the law protects Snowden, and we've got a responsibility to uphold the law. The Whistleblower Protection Act was signed by Obama in 2012 and protects the disclosures that show any violation of any law, rule, or regulation, or gross mismanagement, abuse of authority, or substantial and specific danger to public health or safety. If a whistleblower is someone who exposes official wrongdoing, then there is no lack of evidence that Snowden fits the bill. There have been thousands of NSA abuses of official wrongdoings explained by NSA's own internal audits. The audits state that since Congress granted the authority broad new powers in 2008, they've overstepped their legal authority thousands of times each year. If that's what the NSA is willing to admit to itself and to Congress and to America, then imagine what they're keeping behind closed doors, and imagine how much abuse is really going on. Because, as Snowden's shown us through his leaks, the NSA keeps a lot of stuff secret. The NSA is holding secrets from Congress, from the rest of the American people, and the NSA lies to Congress on a regular basis. So what kind of abuses don't we know about? And what kind of abuses wouldn't we know about had it not been for Edward Snowden and his leaks? So clearly Snowden has pointed out some major glaring flaws in the NSA operations and general wrongdoings in the government. But it's not just that. Snowden hasn't just pointed out wrongdoings, he's taken steps to fix them, and he's brought about change. The ACLU has said that there have been 5 lawsuits challenging the legality of prisons with Snowden. There have been 12 bills introduced in Congress to restrict the program. That's change. And so Snowden, as a whistleblower, is bringing about change and making for a better America. Call him a traitor, call him a defector, but one label stands clear above the rest. Edward Snowden is a whistleblower, and prosecuting him would be wrong, illegal, a terrible decision, because as a whistleblower, he's protected by the law. Our second contention is that protecting Snowden has several positive externalities. Quite simply, whistleblowing is the last defense for the privacy of the world. 40 years ago, the abuses of Watergate spurred Congress to create the FISA court. The leaks at that time sparked national debate that led to reforms to protect privacy for decades. But thanks to Snowden, we know that we're now in an age of internet and technology where privacy doesn't exist anymore. It's too possible and too easy to surveil and steal information and knowledge. His leaks reveal that the FISA court is broken and in desperate need of reform. Let's look at some of the problems. The government has an astonishing rate of success before the FISA court. Between 2010 and 2012, the court approved all 5,180 applications for warrants and physical searches and surveillance, except for one. Each year since 2002, the court receives thousands of requests and never declines or denies more than 4 applications a year. So it's ridiculously easy to get a warrant and to go and search. The FISA court is not protecting our privacy. The FISA court is broken. To call these proceedings and to call this unnecessary acceptance of a ridiculous amount of warrants an abuse would be an understatement. FISA needs to be fixed. And whistleblowing is America's last tool against this abuse. Face it, the president won't act. He welcomes a discussion, but refuses to propose reform. Congress can't even pay their bills, let alone tackle the idea of reforming FISA and the NSA. And since the courts have blocked the ability of anyone to stop it through regular prosecution, Edward Snowden and whistleblowing is our only chance. Last year, the Supreme Court ruled that a group of journalists and attorneys lacked standing to challenge the procedures because they couldn't prove any injury to themselves. So what do we need to prove of injury to the American people? We need Snowden. We need leaks. And Edward Snowden gets us that information. Edward Snowden is the key to fixing the abuses of the American government against its people. And his prosecution will be only another abuse and overstep of American authority and abuse of government authority. Our third contention is that prosecuting Snowden would be entirely ineffective. He's made it to Russia. He's got asylum. He's untouchable. Your options? Well, you can try him in absentia and not actually have him be at the prosecution, but that's a little bit ridiculous. It's like a baseball game where only one team shows up. It's not fun, and it's kind of a little bit unfair for the team that doesn't show up. And it'd be entirely pointless. So what's an in absentia conviction going to actually do? Tell him he can't return to America? I feel like he already knows that. So you can't try Snowden in absentia. So you'd have to bring him to American courts. And that's just about impossible too, because Putin's got him in Russia, and he's not going to extradite him. It would cost a fortune, and what would we have to show for it? Between $2 and $20 million for a capital case that we can't even get a reasonable conviction for? I don't think it's worthwhile. So for these three reasons, I think the choice should be clear. The United States cannot prosecute Edward Snowden. Thank you, and I now stand open to cross-examination.